Everyone seen these? Okay, it's easier if I do it this way. Put your hands up if you've seen most onward. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're seeing hands. Right, you'll all know this sound. What these do is these detect patches of electromagnetic fluctuation or negative ions in the case of these devices. And what they do is negative ions and electromagnetism can cause people to have hallucinations and have different types of feelings. So you can go from being very, very happy to completely and utterly devastatingly sad. Okay? Now, if you get a lot of negative ions, especially after thunderstorms. Yeah, thunderstorms, lightning, stuff like that, leaves a lot of natural negative ions behind. So what we do is we come to places that are haunted. People say, oh, I've had such and such experience up here. I walked up here, I saw a ghost of the monk walking across the stage. So we know someone's had a perfectly rational experience. Okay? They've had something out of the norm that they can't explain. So the first thing we do is we conduct a baseline test. This baseline test will allow us to eliminate any potential electromagnetism in the building or negative ions that could be causing hallucinations. Yeah? Good, everyone with us? Cool. Now, what we do is after these are done, if we use these all the time, okay, they hardly ever go off. A lot of the time, people's experiences are not down to hallucinations that's caused by electromagnetism or negative ions. But we still do the tests because we need to outrule it. There are cases where people have had lots and lots of experience with haunted places. You go in with the devices and you find out the place is absolutely swamped with electromagnetism. Now, electromagnetism has a hell of an effect on the human brain, okay? Like I said, it can cause feelings of being happy to sad. You can have feelings of, seeing ghosts, feeling tapping, seeing people, the sensation of people watching you, stuff like that. All right, so it can cause a whole host of different effects. One of the biggest causes of electromagnetism, which you'll find in any house these days, is fans. Everyone got a fan in their house? Ceiling fan or bedside fan, something like that? They absolutely fill an area of electromagnetism really, really, really quickly, and a lot of people sleep with them by their bed. Okay, it's really not recommended. So that's the EMF meter. The EMF is recorded in scales of 1 to 6, I believe. Yeah, 1 to 6 on some, 1 to 5 on others. Okay, this is a scale known as the milligauss scale. All right, the higher the number, the stronger the reading. Okay, if you're getting readings of 1 to 2 milligauss, that means that something unusual is going on. Any higher than that, obviously it's saying be cautious because the electromagnetism is quite strong in it. So if you're having a regular occurrence of feelings of people watching you, or you're regularly seeing a ghost, you take an EMF meter and straight away you'll get EM readings of 5, 6, 7. You know you've got a potential problem there that's causing hallucinations. The other device that I mentioned is also the negative ion detector. This is the best way to think of negative ions is static. Okay, a lot of people say when they saw a ghost, the hair stood up on the back of their neck. That they've got goosebumps, prickly skin, all stuff like this. It can all be linked to static electrics. This is another thing we check for: is negative ions causing people to have hallucinations? Okay, so you'll see we're very scientific, we're very plausible in the way we approach the paranormal, because we want to know for a fact if we have experienced the paranormal. We want to have all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. We want to know for a fact we have had a genuine paranormal experience and not something that someone could say 5 years down the road, well, did you check for negative ions? Did you check for EMF? Because they could have contributed to that experience. Okay, so we want to eliminate that. We'll also be using these devices called the Frank's box. Anyone familiar with them? No? Right, basically what this is, it's a normal little FM radio, only the little device inside that stops it on specific radio stations has been removed. So it's a randomly cycling radio. It just flicks in and out from lots of different signals from lots of different stations. The theory is, as the man that developed these suggests, that the signal constantly cycles, you get lots of radio transmissions, and then any ghosts that are present are able to use those radio signals as a carrier wave to get their own voices across. So you'll listen to this, you'll play it back, you'll have like loads of garble from radio stations, and occasionally you'll get a single word, a name, or a specific reference or a venue will jump out, and you'll hear it as clear as day. All right? It's a very controversial device. There's lots of people that believe them. There's lots of people that don't believe them. We're still on the fence with it. We've heard a lot of evidence for it and a lot of evidence against it. That's why we're still using them until we've made our own decisions. Okay? Another device you'll use tonight is what they call a UED, an ultrasonic envelope detector. Now you'll notice the difference between all of these is obviously that's got an aerial, that one hasn't, and this has got what looks like a microphone. This is basically a UED means an ultrasonic envelope detector. This creates a field around it which allows you to hear on the ultrasonic level. Okay? There's theories saying that ghosts operate either on the ultrasonic or infrasonic sound waves. There's also theories that ultrasonic and infrasound can actually cause paranormal experiences. So is it the infrasound actually causing the experiences, or is it the ghost that's generating the infrasound that's causing the experiences? It's still a bit of a hit and miss affair. Okay, as you'll see, there's lots of grey areas with investigating ghosts. Okay, nothing is ever black and white with the paranormal, unfortunately. But basically, when you put these on, you'll hear like a faint hiss. You'll hear everyone else talking. You can hear normally. You're just hearing on a slightly higher frequency, so you can hear into the ultrasound as well. Okay, so if you hear anything on these, it's important you do let us know. Also, we're going to be using dictaphones in experiments known as EVP, which is electronic voice phenomena. Now this was, it's a phenomenon that goes back to the 1950s, and the actual term EVP was first coined by a gentleman called Bayliss, who was a psychologist, parapsychologist, and basically he noted when he was doing investigations and when he was doing recordings, there was disembodied voices coming back on the recordings that he could not identify. He made note of these and put it out to peer review and asked people, is anybody else getting this? Is anybody else getting unknown voices on their recordings? Because we simply don't know what's going on. It's a phenomenon that's rocketed throughout the world. Everybody's doing it. People are recording EVPs thousands of times every day. You basically take a dictaphone, switch it on, read out the piece of information we're going to give you, ask the 10-15 questions, and then you play it back at a later date and see if there's any replies. Sometimes you get replies, sometimes you don't. Okay? All of the questions are designed to be very, very specific, so they're not just random radio frequencies coming in and making sense out of what could be just random and meaningless data. Okay? Down here we've got these two devices which are hygrometers. Now they test for the temperature and humidity of the venue. There's a lot of people say, oh, when I saw a ghost it suddenly got really, really cold. Okay? One thing we've actually noticed is people report temperature rises more than decreases when they experience the paranormal. Temperature seems to soar. Ideally, for anything to be considered a paranormal temperature rise or decline, we're looking for increases or decreases of somewhere between 4 to 6 degrees either way. Okay? So if you're in a building and it's constantly 20 degrees, suddenly you have a paranormal experience, you look down at your thermometer and it's 21 or 21.5, it's not really justifiable, it's only a degree and a half. If you're getting 24, 25, 26, that's a significant jump to say, right, okay, why has that jumped up? And then we've got to look at the causes as to why the temperature has increased. Okay? And the next thing, which I'm sure you've all seen, is non-contact laser thermometers. It's basically a small handheld device. It's got a red trigger on the front. You fire it, it puts a red dot on the wall, or wherever you're pointing it, and then it will give you a backlit temperature display, which you can then read off to your team reader and they'll note it down. Okay? A lot of people, when they get these, think that the temperature reading is coming from the red dot. It's not. Okay? It's a sheer guidance thing to let you know where you're pointing it. If you're pointing it here, the temperature reading will be taken in the middle between the laser gun and the actual laser point. Okay, so it's not the temperature of the brickwork, it's the temperature in the middle. Okay? So if you've got cold spots, you want them. If you're checking the ambient temperature in the room, you want these. Alright? Also, men, when you tend to get these, it's really tempting to want to shoot people with them. Alright? Try and resist it if you can. And also, if you've got